Hey everybody, it's Missy bringing you another layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2015 September kits again. And I'm going to be scrapping this picture of my daughter flying through the air with her hair sticking straight up. And it's actually going to go with some of the embellishments that I have chosen to use for this page. And I'm going to try something a little different, something I haven't done in a while, and that is a grid design. And I'm just starting with some white cardstock, and I'm using my T-square ruler and the picture to trace around where I want my papers and my picture to go. And I have to kind of play around with it because I started tracing too low to make it even on all the edges at the top and the bottom, so I kind of have to play around with it here for a little while. But I finally get all four rectangles just where I want them, and I'm going to be using different pattern papers on each of the squares. And I'm just going through some of the papers that I had not used yet, and I'm going to use a mix of the Dear Lizzie and the Amy Tan. And I want this to be bright and fun, and so I'm using a mix of different papers. And I've been wanting to use this cream off-white with the black polka dots for a while, and so I made that part of this layout. And I'm just kind of rough cutting here. I did trace, but the blue one's kind of crooked, so I do straighten that up a little bit on my paper trimmer, but the rest of them I just cut with my scissors, and I don't really care if they're perfectly straight or not because I'm going to come in with a lot of embellishments. Now I'm going to use washi tape from those from the washi tape booklet from the Amy Tan collection to fill up the rectangle here on the bottom left. Now let me tell you, I started out with that little zebra. When I first decided to make this layout, I saw that zebra and I thought, I'm going to make that zebra work somehow on this layout. And so I went through all my pictures, and when I found that picture, it just reminded me of my daughter's personality and how wild and silly she is, and her hair just fits that in this picture. And so I thought, I'm going to make this a wild child layout. So I'm going to have wild animals on the page. And so that's my reasoning behind the zebra. And I just kind of went through off camera and gathered up some of the embellishments and kind of loosely placed them where I think I might want to put them. And I do change around some of the papers. I use that pink and white striped one as a layer behind the photo. And then I decided to use the royal blue on the right. And I'm going to do a little bit of mixed media here, so I'm going to add some gesso, and this is going to blend out some of the patterns, not completely white them out, but it's just going to fade them away just a little bit, and it's going to make the ink that I use stick a lot better, especially on top of the washi tape. And I don't want the bright colors to go away. I want this to be a bright page, but in order to add the mixed media, I need to put some gesso down, especially on the washi tape. And I'm just going to add a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy here. I'm going to use some of that yellow Dilutions, and I believe that was from the March kits, maybe? The March color kit. It's super bright yellow, and I don't want to use a whole lot of it, but I do want to have a little bit of yellow popping here and there underneath some of the embellishments. And then I'm going to add a little bit of splatter with the same ink. And then I'm going to come in with this Distress marker, and this came in this color kit this month, September. And it's very subtle. I just wanted to add a little bit of green here and there. And I tried the packaging technique and it worked fine, but it wasn't bold enough, I think, because the color is pretty light when you do it that way. And so I'm just going to add it directly to the paper, and it's going to smudge really nicely with my little water pen there because of the gesso. I discovered earlier on this month that if you use these distress markers just straight onto cardstock or pattern paper, they don't want to blend as well, but when you add the gesso, it definitely blends very nicely. And so I just kind of do a couple of smudges here and there with the marker. And there was a blue one and a reddish color one. I can't remember the exact names of the colors, but I just used the green one here. And I just play around with it in little spots. And you can see there it made some watercolor effects. And I'm going to come in with some of these acetate pieces from Amy Tan. And I think I totally forgot to peel off the film on some of these. Not that that's a huge deal. You can't really tell, but they do all have this little coat of film on there. So just makes it a little more clear if you peel it off first. And actually wind up gluing some things down before I realized that I forgot to pull it off. And I want to use this camera, but with everything on the background, I didn't want to change the green color of the camera. And since it is a clear piece, I wanted the green to stay true to that color. And so I just backed it on white cardstock first. That way the colors would not change with anything that I have on the background. I've been wanting to use those balloons, and so I'm going to also incorporate them there on the right side. And I did some stitching off camera, and I used different colors around each triangle. That's not a triangle. Rectangles. I think I know my shapes. Hello. I used gold around the washi tape, yellow around the blue rectangle, and blue around the black and white. And it's kind of hard to see from here, but in real life you can see the different colors. Now I'm going to use some pop dots for the zebra, and I'm going to add a little bit of thread behind him, and it's pink. And it really doesn't mean anything. I just wanted a couple more things up in that square. Okay, there I go again. It's not a square, it's a rectangle. Triangles, squares. If I say circles, somebody slap me upside the head because I'm not working with circles here. Rectangles. It's late. I think I need to go to bed. Anyway, yeah, I stuck down those balloons and realized that I forgot to peel the filming off. And so I'll do that here in a bit. And I do want to raise up that little camera. So I add some pop dots under it, but I still decided that I wanted to add something a little more first, which of course was thread. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of teal. I have a lot of different thread colors going on this page. And I know my light is so bright right there, but that is the piece that says totally. And I couldn't reach my stapler to staple it down, so I just wind up using some glue. And when it dries, you can't really see it. And there I go, realizing, oh yeah, there's some film on this. And then I had a little freak out moment. Did you see? Why? I don't know. Who knows? I think I was probably calling myself a moron for not realizing that the film was still on there. But it's all good. It worked out. I don't know. It was one of those moments where I was just kind of getting on my own nerves. Do you ever get on your own nerves when you're doing something like this? And you just talk to yourself like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I'm going to come in with the giraffe, another wild animal to go with my wild child there. And I'm going to use this little happy piece that is from one of the Project Life cards, and I'm just going to cut it out. I've gotten so much use out of the Project Life cards from these kits, and I don't even do Project Life. I highly recommend getting those, even if you don't do it, because they make great embellishments and really nice layering pieces. And now I'm just trying to focus on getting almost every color in every rectangle area. At least all the different colors represented. So I want to add some red to the zebra rectangle. And I'm going to use this rub-on that I have not used yet. And so I wasn't quite sure how it would look against the blue. And so I did, just like I did with the camera, I rubbed it on to white first. And that way you can move it and put it wherever you want without, actually adhering it to the background. Because once you rub it on, it's there. And so this is another good way that you can use your rub-ons. If you're not quite sure where you want to put it, but you know you want to use it, just rub it onto white and then cut it out. And then you can just move it around like an embellishment. So I'm just playing around with the different things here. There's so many little pieces that I hadn't used yet. And so I just kind of playing around with all these different little parts. I decided to put the wood veneer on top of the picture. And then I'm going to come in with my title up here. And it's going to be, She's a Wild One. Because she really is a wild one. She may be little, but her personality is definitely big. She's quite the little character. So, you know, I have a zebra. Zebras are wild animals, so it goes, right? I'm usually not one to use random things, and I just remember Irit talking about this in one of her videos about how she's making a conscious effort to become more random, and if she likes something, she's going to use it, whether it matches the topic or matches the photo or whatever. She likes it, she's going to use it. And I have a hard time doing that, and so when I saw this giraffe and the zebra at first, I thought, that's just going to go to waste. What am I going to do with that? But you just have to kind of get creative, and, you know, I have a wild child, and I call her that all the time. And so she's looking kind of wild with her hair sticking straight up. And I thought, you know, this is the perfect chance to use the wild animals. And so there you go. You just kind of have to stretch it sometimes and make it work. If you really want to make it work, just, you know, try to relate your photo to the embellishments or your title or your journaling. And that's kind of how I do it. But, you know, so what if it doesn't match your picture? If you like that zebra and you want to use it, go for it. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I'm going to add a couple little things to that open area in the picture where it's just sky, because it is white and just wide open. I'm going to add that little, it's hard to see, but it's a light teal star. And then I have a couple of little rub-ons that were just little tiny pieces left over. I've used most of the rub-ons that came in the kits. There are a couple from the Dear Lizzie sheet that I still have not used, but I'm not going to throw those away. And I really love these Amy Tan enamel hearts. I've used them on a lot of the pages, and they make great little accent pieces, just like you know what I did here with the picture, just adding little bits and pieces into open spots. So I'm going to come in with some black color shine and just add a couple of splatters, since there are black, little bit of black throughout the layout. I just feel like since the photo is black and white, that the black ink sets it off. So I went through some old kits and I found this Ellie's Studio stamp set. I believe this was from the April kits, and I thought, hey, I want to use that. So I go through and I use the little scallop border stamp there, and I'm also going to use the heart. I love digging through old kits and finding things that you can use over and over, like stamps and inks. And I always keep all of my mixed media things that we get in the color kit. I always keep them out on my desk, and so I like to reach for any and every of those that we've gotten in any of the kits thus far, because they are all usable on all your kits. And these little, do you remember these little, this little pack of stickers that we got in the April kits? It matches perfectly with the pinks in this kit. And so I pulled those out because I have a lot of those left over, and I made those work also. And I'm going to use the word happiness here. So it's going to say, hello, unbelievable happiness, which isn't really, you know, I didn't really intend for that to be journaling or an actual sentence or anything. I wanted to use the hello puppy sticker, and I wanted to stamp happiness, and, you know, it just sort of goes. That's going to wrap it up. Added a little bit of journaling at the bottom and my date stamp, and that is it. I really like how it turned out. I love the washi tape, and I like that I got to use those wild animals. It turned out to be one of my favorite layouts for the month, I think. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please let me know if you have any questions or you want to know anything about the Hip Kit Club. October kits will be here soon, so I can't wait to get started on those. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.